because knowledge is power. If someone doesn't tell you something, you will never know. So yeah, I feel like if I had this, I would be more organised in terms of, okay, these are the few things that I've picked out. And to be honest, that's how I felt after I did my master's degree. I realised that I like reg affairs, I like quality assurance, I like project management. So then I filtered it into what roles can I actually do within these different job sectors. And then that's how I was able to find that, okay, yeah, I'm interested in SSU, I'm interested in project management. What skills do I have that will help me obviously give the company what they want, but also help me develop? So having a platform like this, it will give you the opportunity to start thinking about what I can or cannot do. And if I can't do it, what can I do then to allow me to do it? I'm rocking with God's favor. I'm rolling with God's favor. I'm Miss Favoura. My yay is different to your yay. Dripping in sauce, dripping sauce, sauce. I don't know why you wanna know me. Why you wanna know me? My yay is different to your yay. Hey. Sorry. I'm Miss Favour. I'm fortunate amongst vessels of your royalty. I'm with God, that is where you're supposed to be. So no demon can even try to touch me, because God has promised that he will always protect me, guide and provide for my family. Favour, follow me. What can I say about myself? My name is Rosemary Ichaba. I am currently a project specialist working at Seniors Health. I belong to the S in the STEM and I've been working in the industry for over a year now. I did my first degree in Plymouth. I did a BSc in just straight chemistry because I love chemistry and I'm a bit of a science nerd. That was a 4-year course and I graduated in 2016. I then went on to do a master's at UCL in drug discovery and pharmaceutical management, and I graduated in 2018, this year. Why did I do my course, you ask? Well, I did chemistry because I really enjoyed just like doing formulas and understanding how the carbon can just come together and create a molecule. I just enjoyed like understanding the biological chemistry, physical chemistry, and I was told I shouldn't do science. So I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna go for it and I'm gonna prove you wrong. So that's why I did a chemistry degree. And then after I did my chemistry degree, I decided that I just didn't want to do just straight science. I wanted to do science and business, and then I was introduced to the pharmaceutical industry. So then I went on to do my master's in drug discovery, which was obviously the science of how drugs are created and all the background information as to how they get the indication. And then the pharma management part was basically the business of the pharmaceutical industry, understanding the ethics, the regulatory, and etc. So I decided to do my master's because I wanted to do science and business, and I guess I came across pharma management, but I wasn't really knowledgeable of the pharmaceutical industry, I'll say that. And then over summer, Jen told me about her first CTA role. That's what it was, right? Mm-hmm. And that's when I kind of researched into what the pharmaceutical industry is, to be honest. Whilst I was doing my first degree, chemistry, I didn't really have career expectations. I didn't want to be a lab technician. I didn't just want to make chemicals. I thought that was a bit boring. There's just a limit to it. There's only so many things that you can blow up, and there's a lot of smelly things in the lab. And I react to everything. I've got very sensitive skin, so there was no way I was actually going to do a career in chemistry. So no, I did not have any career expectations whilst doing my first degree. But then my second degree kind of opened my eyes to see I could possibly do reg affairs, probably do med affairs, QA. Like, I feel like I learned a lot more about the roles. Not because it was UCL, but I think because obviously my degree was incorporated with the pharmaceutical industry, so understanding how it works within a global scale, and then understanding how the pharma role and the CRO role, which is contract research organisation, comes into play within clinical trials and clinical research. So I would say during my master's, I was able to like elaborate in terms of what I could go into and what opportunities that were available to me because of the degree. university at the time was lacking, because when we had guest speakers, they will talk about what they've done in industry, but it's all academia based. So it was hard to kind of think, oh, I finished a degree now, do I want to be a lecturer? No, I don't want to be a lecturer. So what exactly can I do with this chemistry degree? I could become a lab technician, but I don't want to do that either. So I don't feel like they really exposed us to the different roles within chemistry. And that's one thing that I really like about what we're doing, because we're trying to give better insight to things you can do with a science degree. So we had guest speakers come, and they will basically just talk about the different projects, research that they were doing. I feel like, I can say that within a science degree, I feel like what they try to push is you have to do further education in order to become someone or to do something. It's not just doing a chemistry degree and then trying to find a job, because then what job can you do with chemistry if you're not a lab technician or a lecturer? So we had a lot of different guest speakers come in to like tell us about their research, which means they were doing a PhD, or tell us about the different projects they had. And I think because we were situated in Cornwall, there was a lot of projects going around, like sea life and water life, so it was easy for them to talk about those things. But then if you didn't want to do that, how is it applicable to me? Like, how is that going to make me feel, oh my god, I want to do what you're doing, because I don't have an interest in it? So we had a lot of people come and talk about plants. I do not want to look and examine plants. Like, that's not just me. Everyone has their own little niche that they're obviously passionate about. But I'm not passionate about plants. I'm not passionate about water. I'm not passionate about rocks. So what exactly are you giving me from studying here? So I'm not going to lie to you. I did not attend them. It was a waste of time. So I feel like if they had more people come through, just stop laughing. If they had more people come through that were obviously doing other things, like obviously like clinical research, if they had a project manager come in, or if they had a CRA come in, then I'll start to think, oh my gosh, okay, maybe I can kind of digress. But I think because a lot of people don't know what you can do with some of these science subjects, it's kind of hard to say, this is our audience and this is what we want to talk to you about. I decided to do a master's because, like I said, I really wanted to do a subject that gave me the opportunity to combine science and business. I feel like I wanted to learn more. I like learning new things, so I never get bored of studying. Because originally I actually didn't want to do a master's, but because I didn't know what exactly I enjoyed doing after I did my chemistry degree, I thought it would be smart to kind of indulge myself into further education and see what information and knowledge I can gain. So, experience. At the time, my university was not offering a work experience year. What is it called? Placement year. So they weren't offering a placement year, which they are now doing. So I thought, obviously, by doing this master's, I would get more information within a specific field, and then I can try and get better opportunities out there. I think, obviously, doing chemistry, a lot of people just take you on board in the lab, and I did the lab for 4 years, so I didn't want to do the lab again. So I feel like my master's definitely gave me greater insight into a lot of different roles that I didn't know about at the time. Okay, after I got out the bubble of education and I finished my master's, it was a bit hard trying to look for a job. I think I had completed a 3-month internship at CRO, which gave me a lot of exposure in terms of what the business is like and the different roles and sectors available within a CRO, clinical research organisation. And so I kind of knew what I wanted to go into. I felt like from the skill set that I had gained from working in that CRO, I was kind of leaning against the side of being within a study startup, SSU department, or project management, because I did a lot of project managing and tracking, a lot of systems and documentation. So I thought it's either going to be SSU or project management. So obviously I went on the way, started applying for jobs at big pharmas and CROs, because obviously I had the experience for 3 months. And I was applying for a lot of, like I said, study startup roles, project coordinators, project management roles. And I had a lot of interviews, which were kind of helpful, I think, in terms of getting understanding on what the process is like, because it's not like doing a grad scheme. So obviously you're applying for a proper job first time. So it was a good opportunity for me to understand what the interview process was like in these big pharmas and CROs. And I think I was in the process for about a month, because obviously when you do your masters, it's from September to September. So I was applying before I finished my masters officially, and it took me a month to get a job. I started off as a Regulatory Quality Governance Associate, RQG for short, and I was basically working alongside regulatory affairs and quality assurance and quality auditors. I think my role was more system based, so I was like a system administrator, giving access to the users within the company, creating SOPs, obviously doing QCs on the SOPs, just to ensure that they're obviously GCP standard and compliant. I think within my role, we gave a lot of assistance to the quality auditors so that they had all the necessary resourcing before they did audits within the company and externally. And so I was an archivist, and basically being an archivist within a clinical research organisation just meant that whenever you were coming close to finishing a study, or you had a lot of patient information that you didn't want to be retained on site, you would archive it to an off-site facility. So I helped manage that and basically coordinate all our archiving trackers. I was heavily involved with the deliveries, and obviously when we had audits, so we had people like MHRA coming to site, we had to make sure that we had the right study boxes and the right data for them to... Anyways, I knew about the INC morals and the way they conducted themselves. They had a really positive yes I can attitude, which was good at times because obviously if you needed help, it was readily available. But then being able to say no to someone when you're busy, it was really hard for them to do. And I felt like it was kind of written in their contract that you have to help everyone because everyone was just so happy. But maybe because we're like an American-based company, everyone's just really like hyperactive and just helpful. So I knew that was the kind of environment I was going into. I knew they were pro-development, which is what I am as well. So it won't be just like I'm doing a job for 5, 4, 6 years or whatnot. They would want to actually develop me, make me realise what my strengths and weaknesses are. I guess being around friendly people, you can't really get a good job done if you're in a hostile environment. So I knew that no matter who I was working with or whoever my team was, I know that we would like set off a really good relationship. I've got a lot of good feedback. I've gone international as well. Miami, we did our first Investigate meeting, which was really nice. I feel like I've got a lot of exposure to all the different roles within my study team as well, which range from being CRA, project, data manager, statistician, working alongside project directors and stuff. So I get a lot of exposure as to what their role entails, which obviously helps for my development, because if I decided that I didn't want to be a project manager today, I know that I could there was a great likelihood of me becoming a lead CRA because I know what they have to do. Or if I wanted to go far off, I could go and become a data manager. So I feel like my role gives me the opportunity to see what everyone does as a whole and obviously retain all that information. So I'm kind of like the hub. Whenever anyone needs anything, they come to me. And then at the same time, I also mentor. So I feel like that's my way of obviously giving back to the company. Whenever we have newbies come on board, I'm able to answer their questions, as many questions as I possibly can, but basically just help someone else grow the same way someone has helped me grow. So that is really rewarding as well. For my first role, I think it was okay. It was like 24k. Fresh grad with 3 months experience. I thought it was a bit decent. I wasn't really sure what to expect because I only had 6 months experience within a CRO, and I think because I was kind of jumping ship from regulatory into project management, I would have to like prove myself as worthy. So I would have expected for a graduate that's just done a master's to be within the range of 24 to 28k as a junior project manager or project specialist as I am, and so I'm just a bit further on the other end, so I'm alright, I'm happy. Perfect. Yes, I wanted to go into project management, but I wasn't going to do it straight away. So what I wanted to do was trying to accumulate accumulate experience within a company to understand what the different roles were. So because I worked in SSU, I felt comfortable to go back to SSU. But then obviously because of things that I can't disclose to the company, it was really hard for me to go into SSU. And I think that's when I started to verge into project coordinating. And then that's when I decided that, you know what, if I'm not going to go into SSU, because I know a bit of information about it, I can gain further experience somewhere else. And I feel like project management put me in the right place in order to understand everything within the business, like from when we get a bid up until when we close out. So, and I think because my company is now extended to be a biopharmaceutical real life solution company, it means we do from phase 0 to marketing. So we can take a drug, do the clinical trials, do all the feasibility, pharmacovigilance, and then we can actually go on to marketing your drug, doing your marketing application, and then at the end put it on the market for you. So I feel like that's obviously good for me, because then if I decided that I wanted to diverge into something else, I can do that. There's the opportunity to do that. So I feel like it's by luck that I was able to get a job that I actually really enjoy. I'm gonna be cheeky, but I'm just gonna be honest with you. You need to ask them questions that throw them off during your interview. One of the questions that, and do you know what, how I learned that, I cannot remember. I think I got to a stage where I was so tired of hearing my voice, so I asked my interviewer, what do you have to offer me that another company couldn't or can't? Yeah. And she was like, what? I was like, no, honestly, what exactly can you give me within this role that I couldn't find in another company? And she was just like, oh, okay, development. I was like, what kind of development? I can get trained anywhere. I can do it online if I wanted to. So what is so different about your development plan and your development tools that will make me actually want to stay here? And she basically just gave me a whole directory as to what they have to offer. And that's how I learned how you could basically do this role for 6 months and then decide if you don't want to do that role, you can do something else. But because they're so heavily trained on developing people, it's like they don't want to lose you because you don't like what you're currently doing. They know that you're an asset to the company, so they prefer to develop you further. And I think that kind of one. I also sometimes talk to them about what I want to do, like beyond just working within a CRO. So the way I communicate that across is, okay, this is what I've gone through in terms of my education history and career history. So this is what I want to offer as like what we're doing now with WeNite to other students. How can I incorporate that with my day-to-day job, because I am going to get called to go and do motivational speaks? Is that something that I can do whilst working, knowing that obviously I'll dedicate my time to doing work, but I really want to do this at the same time? And if I've had companies go, I don't know if you're going to have time for that, I'm just like, I don't know how we're going to work together, because that's something I'm passionate about. You're telling me to put that aside and basically make work my life. I can't do that. So if I get like a really good response and they're just kind of interested in it and they want to see how they can incorporate what I want to do into their company, I'm just like, I think maybe I can work together. Get to know the company you're working for, because the last thing you'd want to do is sign on to something and it's completely different. And I've had that experience. I've had the experience of obviously working with a company, this is my job description, and I come in and I'm doing something completely and entirely different. So it's important for you to kind of gauge the kind of company you're going to work with. Contact people on LinkedIn. That's something that I would really advise people to do, just to see and get the feel of how people feel, because obviously they know that you want the job, but they don't know what exactly you kind of gain. So they'll be more honest in terms of, okay, this is what it's like. They're not sales advisors, so they're not going to obviously sell the job or the company to you. If it's bad, they're going to tell you it's bad. If there's some things that, for example, there isn't really good development, they'll tell you that as well. So then at least you know you're kind of prepared. If you decide to take the job, then maybe a year or two you're going to be stuck doing that job. But if they are like pro-development, like my company is, then you know at least there's progression. So I think in terms of asking the questions, obviously you don't do it like, okay, so what are you going to offer me? Just like, so what is your generic training development plan? Because fair enough, you're the one asking me questions, but I need to seem like I'm interested in the role I'm applying for, and I'm not just doing it because, yeah, I need a job, but at the same time, I want to do it and I want to be beneficial to you. So then what are you going to do or help me do so that I become like a better person within the industry and the role? And I feel like us young people have to throw ourselves out there. Like, we don't just want to be in the same job for the rest of our lives, knowing that we are not learning anything new, especially with the day and age that we're living in right now. Everything's always changing. There's always something new or innovative that's going on. So we kind of need to keep with the time. So I feel like it's important for you to, if you're going to say anything or ask any question, like, you wouldn't want to ask them, okay, so when am I going to find out if I got the job or not? I feel like it will be kind of easy for you to just say, so what training development plans do you have available within the role or within the company? Like, would it be easy for me to kind of gain better experience in a different department or not? Like, just be honest with it, because then at least then you know you can kind of formulate some sort of plan. Okay, I'm going to be in this role for 2-3 years, and then I could possibly progress into this role. Then you have something to work towards, because if you don't have anything to work towards, you're literally just doing your 9 to 5 every single day, and you're not gaining anything new. There's nothing special coming out of it. So I hope that answers your question, Jennifer. Okay, honestly, I will create... Do you know what? I feel like I'll be more involved within our ChemSoc in terms of bringing ideas as to what can we do when we finish the degree. I don't feel like that was kind of mentioned a lot. Obviously, you had like the university career services, but that was generic. I feel like it would be very important for us to get a specific like ChemSoc society that focused on the different career development plans that we had available. So I would be a proactive member of that. I feel like I'll do a lot more research as to what you can do after you've done a science degree, because I feel like I was obviously just going through university to just be done. I wasn't really thinking ahead until there was a moment in my life that I was just like, do you know what? I need to start proactively looking at what I can do after this. So obviously you can't make like a solid plan and expect that to go to plan, but just taking steps towards your future would have been a really good thing to do a bit early on. See, I would say I'll go to networking events, but there wasn't any. Do you know the funny thing is, I didn't want to do medicine. I didn't want to be a doctor. Can't really stand sick people or blood, so I didn't want to do that. I did want to be a pharmacist, but then when I worked within a local pharmacist at Guys, I was like, this is boring. I feel like, yeah, you've got STEM networking events for medics, dentistry maybe, then obviously technology, engineering and maths, but nothing for what we do. So it's like, if I wasn't in this industry, I would not know it exists. I know that yes, we have drugs coming onto the market, but I don't know the process of how do I get my paracetamol, what has happened for this drug to be approved. Like, if I didn't understand the pharmaceutical industry like I do now, I would literally just think someone's made a drug, they've tested it in the lab, it works, and now it's on the market. But there's so much more to it. So then obviously when you hear that drugs are getting recalled, you have that better understanding as to why it's being recalled, like what's happened because of the safety pharmacovigilance that's occurred after the drug's in the market. So I feel like it would be nice to get more exposure as to what you can do after a science degree. And not for it to just be so focused on, if you do medicine, you can become a doctor. Or if you do a science degree, you can either work in lab or you can conduct research. Like, there's just so much more available. But then that's the thing, if people don't know that this information is lacking, they wouldn't go out to universities and talk about it. Everyone's doing their 9 to 5 job. Not everyone's gonna have time to be like, okay, I'm not coming into work today because I wanna go and like inspire someone else to do something that I'm doing. So I feel like it's about getting the word out there that, hello, there's a lot of scientists out there, male and female, and we want to do something different. And because we're young, we want to do something innovative. Like, we want to see how we can impact the world in our way. So you can find me on LinkedIn. My name on LinkedIn is Rosemary Ichaba, or you can email me. Yeah, I think when we have our first WeNite network event, and that'll be a really great time and place to meet people. So I do hair.
Okay.
I bake. Heights. I'm afraid of heights.
What?
I hate spiders.
Okay.
I've left my house because of... So I like knitting. It's something I've taken up now because life just got too stressful and I was just working all the time. So I was like, do you know what? You need to stop. So I knit scarves. This one's for my niece. And this one's for my nephew. And this one's for me. This is so awkward. You can't just put me on the spot. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining.
So my name is Stefan. I am a country approval associate for a contract research organisation. I belong to S, and I've been working in the industry for 2.5 years.